Yeah. What are you most excited about in clean tech coming forward?
In what?
Most excited about, like, in clean tech? Because it's a conversation about clean tech jobs.
Ah, it's a great question. If it's not exciting, why? Uh, Julian, you're living it, and I know Henry and Raju, you may not be living it as much right now. I know you absolutely want to get into it. What's what strikes you as exciting either now or in the future about clean tech?
I'm excited by, living in Silicon Valley. I'm excited by all of the thousands of seemingly thousands of companies that are approaching the energy problem. There are tons of startups trying to make different technologies to store energy and produce energy, and everyone thinks that theirs is the best. And so it's really cool to kind of see all these different ideas, see people's creativity, um, and then see if they can implement it and see kind of which ones actually make sense. Because I think we are kind of looking at how the future is going to be powered, and so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that the coolest thing about it is that somebody's got to do it. Someone has to advance us with some cool new piece of technology, and they're going to need everybody around them, all hands on deck, making it happen. What I'm thankful for is that every time we get a new client, it's like a little treasure chest where we're looking at basic research projects up to developments of tanks and stuff, and you get to see all these new inventions, and it's mind blowing. Stay close to things that excite you mentally, whether it's a website that you go to or an email chain you subscribe to, whatever it might be. Just keep close to it because like Julian was saying, a million companies, a million ideas, all from a different angle, and it's really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think echoing the sentiments of both Henry and Julian, it's an interesting space to be in. Personally, like I mentioned in my introduction, one of the things that I hope to spend some more time on in the future is kind of on the international aspect. And, if I had to pick, I think I'm in Julian's camp where I think energy storage is, silver bullet's a strong word, but I think it's a game changer if we can get it to work. And, one manifestation of that is like the hydrogen economy and figuring out whether, some kind of fuel cell will and hydrogen, whether hydrogen is the efficient energy storage medium. But on the other hand, I think whether the fuel cells work or not, I think there's a lot to be said and done, particularly from my personal experience when it comes to energy storage in places like India, where it's not even on, it's just now getting on people's radar, where there's a huge need, a huge supply-demand mismatch where renewable energy, I think, can fill the void. And today, to the extent that new technologies are getting better day by day, if we can make storage happen, I think, on a commercial and economically viable scale, I think you're going to start seeing a sprouting and a rapid commercialization of energy technologies, not just in the U.S., but more importantly, I think in places like India, Brazil, China, which are starting to experiment with these things and doing well, but nowhere near on the scale where I think things can on and are destined to go. So I think that's exciting. So we'll see whether it's next 20 years, next 30 years, but hopefully sometime soon, so that we can be a part of it.
Awesome.
The only thing I'll throw in there, and then we're going to wrap it up, is I started DayAway 5 years ago. And I did it largely because, I looked at the energy sector and it struck me as a bunch of old companies with old people like myself that are making a shitload of money off of fossil fuel. And they had a hammerlock, right, on the whole landscape. And 5 years later, largely that's still true. But to echo Julian's point, it is just stunning to see what is sprouting up everywhere. And this is a trend, clean energy, clean tech more broadly, that is absolutely moving forward. And you know, you see some isolated cases of incredible growth where what has happened to solar, the price of solar energy in just the last 3-4 years, and the financing mechanisms of a solar city that have taken that off. And you look at what Tesla is doing, right? Which, you know, this is transportation. It is a huge sector. And here is a car whose annual carbon footprint in terms of, you know, the annual carbon footprint is by anybody's math, and it ranges a whole lot cleaner than what's out there. And they're making a ton of money off of it. And I'm really excited about it. What I think is fun is people are figuring out they can make money and make a difference at the same time. And at the end of the day, it is absolutely your generation that is going to make this happen, and younger generations behind you, because the old people are invested in the status quo. There is no rational economic reason for them to change the game. They're making too much money off of it right now. There's a few old people like me that, you know, just they have their motivations, but it's going to be the younger people that are going to make this happen. So if you can kind of picture Julian's point about Silicon Valley, or you go to New York or Boston, not so sure about Houston, but then again, somebody's leaving there anyway, right? But you know, there's just a tremendous future.